Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. You are watching Ask the Experts with Roland. I am here doing solo this morning, but we are here. We take out this time every Friday to answer your questions. So make sure that you drop your questions in the chat so that we can give you the answers that you need, the tools that you need to help you through this journey of life with marriage. Okay, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let everybody know that we are here. And make sure you tell your friends. Hey, listen, there's an amazing show, couple show, individual, transformational show that comes on every single day, and you have the opportunity to ask whatever questions that you have on Friday, and that's what we are here for, to serve you. We also want to thank our fearless leaders again, as they often pour into us. We want to make sure that they get poured into and make sure that they get what they need to be rejuvenated, revitalized, so they can come back strong, healthy, and whole to give us all that we need. So, again, today is Friday. You're watching Ask the Experts. Drop your questions in the chat. Don't wait until the last minute. It's just me, so I'm going to try to get to everything that I can with the time that we have for us. And so make sure you let us know. We're going to go to a quick commercial, and we will be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the Couples Academy show, Ask the Experts. I do want to shout out a few of the friends that are with us. Vashon, Saved One, aka Gonzalez and Jewel, Stephanie N, Renee, Walter. I don't want to pronounce this wrong. Kavia, Tori Love. Thank you all so much for sharing with us. Kenny Burkett. It is great to have you all with us this morning. I know you could be so many other places, but you have tapped in with us, and we are very grateful for that. There was a question that came in from Kavia. She says, why my partner is very cold-hearted after infidelity. Face red, droopy eyes. Face red, droopy eyes. And so listen, the fact of the matter is, and the reality is, when infidelity happens, it's not just the betrayed person that is hurting. It's not just the betrayed person that is going through what they're going through, but it's also the person that has done the betraying. And it can go one or two ways. You said cold-hearted, meaning that I'm assuming they are not really engaging. They have an attitude. so oftentimes the person, they are mad because the affair had the end. They are upset, like, why did you come in and wreck my show kind of attitude. And what happens is they begin to become angry and resentful, and they take it out on the spouse, unfortunately. And so, the flip side of that is when people do things like this, they do become remorseful, soft-hearted, and not cold. And a lot of times that is a means or a sign of remorsefulness that should not be taken for granted. So we just have to figure out, what's going on with your spouse and figure out why they are where they are. Let's get to the root cause of it, because there is a root cause of the cold heartedness, the red droopy eyes. We have to figure out what that is. So let's figure out what that is, and we can better answer what's going on with them on that side. There was another question from Stephanie N. She said, I found out about the affair about 6 months ago after giving birth. So I went through really bad postpartum. We have been trying to rebuild, but recently I went through a dry spell. Never this kind. And she goes on to say, of issue. Could it be my hormones changing because of the affair? How do you suggest I spark things back up? Well, that's a great question, and my wife is a registered nurse, and so I hear all the stories after birth. I hear all the stories of postpartum depression, and the body has gone through a transformational change. And so, just as your body has gone through a physical transformational change, also your emotions have gone through a transformational change. You have given birth to another human, and the only way that you can proceed moving forward, one, you have to make sure that you are healed physically, emotionally, mentally. You have to make sure that you are in the right headspace, if you would. And when you do that, then you begin to see life as it is. You have a newborn, you have your relationship, and you have your way of moving forward. And so you don't have to rush yourself into trying to get back into the game. Sometimes you do have to sit on the side and you have to look at everything that's in front of you and everything that has happened, and give yourself an opportunity, a period of grace, so that way you can be ready and fulfilled when it's your time to show up. So the best thing to do is make sure that you are healed, mind, body, and soul, and then you can proceed to move forward, to take care of your new little one, to take care of yourself, and also to take care of your family. Okay. I wanna chime someone in. Somebody came knocking at the back door and popped in on us. So I want to chime him in and bring him on the scene. Good morning, brother Rod.
Hey, good morning, Roland. Good morning. Good
Uh,
morning, folks.
happy to see you, man. Well, good to see you, and I hope you're having a great Friday. Hey, listen, we're talking about ask the experts and answering these questions. We have another question coming in um, from Danielle, and she said, "Good morning. What advice would you give regarding an affair that results a child? What should communication look like between the person who cheated and the affair partner?" Listen, anytime you go outside of the covenant, anytime you go outside of the will of God, there are consequences to your actions. And anytime you have the consequence, you don't know what the consequence is going to be. And unfortunately, at times, the consequence could be something that obviously we were not expecting. And so you ask the question, the result of it is this is what happened. That's the reality. What does communication look like? Now it becomes a threefold communication, because it's not going to just be your husband and the mother of the child. It's going to be your husband, me, and the mother of the child. And whether it be through text messages, it's going to be three persons on the text messages. Whether it's a phone call, it's going to be three persons on the phone call, because we have to rebuild a marriage, but we also have to raise a child. and the mother respectfully does not have anything to do with how we raise the child on our end. Although she is the mother of the child, she does not become a part of our family. So we have to make sure that we have boundaries set up. We have
Yes.
to make sure that there is an understanding, and the husband definitely has to make sure he lay the ground rules down up front early on to make sure that there's no confusion about what needs to happen and what life looks like moving forward. What say you, Rod?
Now, Roland, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, if there ever was a need for boundaries, that scenario is definitely a need for boundaries, because you do have a child involved who is innocent, even though it was brought into this world by not the ideal means or situation. You are recovering from the infidelity, and from the betrayed spouse perspective, they have to understand that, and not hold any grudges against the child, but yet the betrayer and the betrayed must come to an understanding of how that communication, how that rearing looks like, and how to move forward in all of the aspects of recovery and healing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's it in a nutshell. We have to make sure, because there are multiple parties involved and multiple innocent parties involved, we have to make sure that we are diligently doing the work to recover and make sure that all parties involved are healed. And the best thing that you could do is reach out to Couples Academy so that we can
Absolutely.
help walk you through this and you do not have to do it alone. Okay. We have another question that came in. Um, Ash says, in your opinion, how can I encourage my husband to do better around the house or in certain areas without sounding or feeling like I'm nagging? This word nagging has come up all week long, and we don't want our spouses to feel like they are nagging us. We don't want to feel like we are being a nag, right? We want to make sure that we are communicating. Domestic support is a huge component in any relationship, in any marriage. Being able to work as a team, right? That's the core of it. We're not looking at, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. Why you didn't finish this? Why you didn't finish that?
Yes.
We have to work as a team and do a separation of duties.
Yes.
Work in the areas that you are more efficient in, and let your spouse work in the areas that they are more comfortable in. And that's how you get things done. But what happens is, if you're expecting me to wash dishes, but I prefer to put wash clothes, then let's just figure out what works for us and work as a team, and let's tag team on this thing and not be bumping heads, because that's when it feels like you're being nagging.
Absolutely, Roland. I mean, we have to remember, as a couple, we are team whatever. We're not enemies. We're not fighting against each other. That nagging word, let's put that on the table for right now, because you're absolutely right. There has to be communication within the marriage and set expectations. If both spouses are working outside of the home, then when they come home, let's decide who's going to wash, who's going to cook, who's going to take care of this part of the house, who's going to take care of that part of the house, and assign duties. Now, like you said, Roland, the ideal situation would be somebody is stronger at washing dishes than the other, or somebody prefers to wash clothes versus the other. Okay, well, that's an easy assignment. But those assignments that are not so easy, that either nobody likes to do, or both people like to do, if you like to do it, what better opportunity to create intimacy than to do it together? For those tasks or those chores that nobody likes to do, how about we take turns? As a child growing up, I had three other siblings. We were assigned a week of washing dishes. None of us liked washing them, but each one of us were assigned a week to wash dishes. During our week, we washed dishes, and then we didn't have to worry about it for another 3 weeks. So
Mhm.
it's the same principle within the marriage. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. And the wife that asked the question, You're not nagging if you're asking in the right tone and right way and in the right environment. So hopefully that husband will receive it when it comes from you with love, and sit down and let's plan it out beforehand, not during the course of the day when maybe he's doing something or relaxing or trying to get his head right.
Yeah, you know what? We do not promote any type of physical violence on this program. In our programs, we do not promote anything of that nature. But you all really should be beating each other from time to time, and you should be beating each other to wash the dishes, beating each other to vacuum, beating each other to fold the clothes, so the other person doesn't have to do it, or because you understand the team nature of your relationship, that you all are trying to get things done, and you should be beating each other to get it done. So that's the only time we will use that terminology in a lighter sense, to bring fun and bring the fact that you are coming together to get some things done. So I hope that answered your question. We have another question, Alan Young. How do I deal with constant reminder of the affair partner keeps showing up, like seeing an individual that reminds me of her? I'll let you deal with that one, Rod.
Well, I mean, that's a great question. And ironically, we have dealt with this with some of our clients, where the affair partner just won't go away. And you have to understand, what is the motive for the affair partner, to continue to create disruption. If the affair was cut off correctly, and at Couples Academy, we definitely can show you how to do that the right way. If the affair was cut off and stopped and end correctly, then the only thing that leaves the motive for the affair partner is to create disruption, continue to create animosity within the marriage itself, and continue to be a thorn in the side. So as a couple, you have some decisions and choices to make. If it's a situation where you can control the narrative, and what I mean by that, if that affair partner is showing up, maybe they live in the same community, maybe they frequent the same places. If they're showing up places like that, you still have an opportunity to control the narrative by controlling your response to that particular person showing up. And then you may also have some legal ramifications that you can go through as well. If the person is utilizing social media, or they're contacting you via cell phones, they're texting you and all that, you definitely have control there, where you can stop, you can ignore, you can block, you can not respond. And eventually they will go away. If it's a situation that you mentioned in your question, that you're triggered, and that's what it is, you're triggered by somebody that looks like the affair partner, then that's definitely something you can control, because now you have a visual you can control if you're going to allow that vision to upset you, disrupt you, make you feel some kind of way, by making a choice and making a decision and work. We have some tools at Couples Academy that we can help work through overcoming triggers.
Absolutely. And what we also recommend, anytime you're faced with a situation like this, you have to do what is called a she talks or he talks. And basically that means flushing this person out of your system. That is visually, mentally, emotionally. You have to flush this person out of your system and make sure that you understand and redirect your focus on your relationship. Because anytime you keep allowing a person to remind you because you see someone, then you're allowing that person to still have you in a sense of bondage, if you would. And we want to make sure that that is not the case. So you have to go through a she talks or a he talks and make sure that that is flushed out of your system. Okay, so listen, guys, you're watching Ask the Experts. We're going to go to a quick commercial and we will see you right back.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
Well, welcome back, folks. You're watching the Couples Academy show, Ask the Experts. It is Friday. Continue to drop your questions in the chat. We thank those that have already dropped those questions in, and we hope that we are being helpful. Hey, listen, Last Chance Weekend is coming up. It is the most transformational group setting that I've seen ever take place, where marriages are being restored, lives are being changed, and it is your opportunity to get your marriage back on track. We have Last Chance Weekend coming up March 10th through the 12th, which is next week. You still have time to sign up. You still have time to be a part of this amazing opportunity of transformational healing. And remember, it's every month, the second weekend of every month. Next month in April is going to be the third weekend, because the second weekend is Easter holiday. And so we want to make sure that you get involved. We want to make sure that you get the healing that you need and get the transformation that you rightfully deserve. Okay, let's jump back in. Legendary Lady has a question. She says, why won't husband file for a divorce? He refuses to change. He has now left. I asked him to file since he said he wanted out, but he won't. Think he wants me to do it so he can call me the bad guy. She goes on to say he cheated multiple times with different people and is now with a new partner, but will not send me papers. I won't do it because I wanted my marriage. Why won't he file? I will have you speak on it, the general.
The first thought that comes to mind when I read that in the question section was, what do you want, Legendary Lady? And you answered that. You want your marriage. And as if you followed Couples Academy for any length of time, you guys know that we are for the last name. We are big believers in marriage. We believe that it's been ordained by God, and that is something special. With that said, we also know that when infidelity occurs, it is a big it's a big obstacle to what God had in store for marriage. So it still ultimately comes down to, Legendary Lady, what do you want? Because within the marriage, within the recovery process, You hear us speak about boundaries. There has to be boundaries reset, and there has to be consequences to those boundaries that are set. I commend you for wanting your marriage. I commend you for your willingness to fight for your marriage and for your willingness to stay your steadfastness when it comes to your marriage. The challenge is you're not in your marriage alone. You have a spouse that seems to be, and we're on the outside looking in. We don't know all the factors. We don't know all the background, and we're hearing one side of the story. But from your question, it sounds like your spouse has not made that choice or that commitment to fight for the marriage. And there's been many couples that have come to Couples Academy. They've been separated for years. Some have even come, especially to a last chance weekend where they've been divorced. And that last chance weekend and that Couples Academy support brought them a new marriage. Because one thing about it, you don't want the same old, same old. You don't want the marriage that you've been experiencing. You don't want the infidelity to continue. And it sounds like that's where your marriage is at this particular moment. So reach out to us. Don't know if you have or you haven't, but if you haven't, reach out to us and we can definitely help. And hopefully we can get your husband on board and moving you guys in the direction that you both choose to go in.
Yes, perfectly said, Rod. We have another question. Kenny Barnett said, should yours and your spouse's social media profile resemble that you are married in photos and not just stating it in your profile info? Absolutely. Why wouldn't you want people to know that you're married and not just stating it in the profile? Listen, the social media, it can be a blessing and it can be a curse, but it's how you manage social media to be the determining factor of what it is for your family and for your marriage. And so, yes, your spouses, yours, it should resemble the fact that you are married. It should resemble the fact that you are in a committed relationship with pictures, with events, the exposure that you want to have or show to the world, but it should resemble the fact that you are together and not just stating it. Because what happens is if I just go through social media and I see all the pictures and I just see you, but I never look at the profile, I'm going to assume that you are single or available. And we do not want that to be the case. And then that's when people start showing up in your DM. That's when people start showing up, in a sense, almost harassing you because I see how you look and I don't see a man involved. I don't see a woman involved. So I'm assuming that you're available. And then here we go. We put ourselves in a situation because now someone wants to push the envelope just to see. Let me just see if he, is going to come and tap in. And what happens is we find ourselves and the enemy knows just what we like. So if a person comes in that I'm not really interested in, I can be like, no, I'm not really interested. But if a person does come in that may look attractive or look like what we like, then, well, they don't know that I'm not married. They don't know that, that I'm in a situation because it's not showing up on my profile. I mean, it's not showing up on my social media page. We open up too many doors. And we can prevent that and avoid that by just making sure that there are pictures that shows I am a family man, I am a family woman, I am unavailable, so do not show up in my DM. What you say, Rod?
Bro, you said it all. You said it all.
Hey, listen, I got a question that came in that I want to address. Actually, I got 3 that came in. But one of them, it says, we are in the middle of the affair recovery, and my husband messaged another female at his former job. He said he misses her. How can I ever trust him again? So what happens is a lot of times, once we decide to live a better life, once we decide to live an integral life, don't think that you're not going to be tested in some way or another. And what happens is, once you cross over to the other side and you find yourself tested, there may be some residual effects from your old behavior, from how you used to be, right? And what happens is, we need to identify the source of that feeling of missing this other person. Did he miss working with her? Did he miss some emotional connection that he had with her? Did he miss some type of affair that they may have had or not had? What does that look like? But you could tell the person response is genuine if they are remorseful in what they have said or done. And so a lot of times what happens is, even though you're going through the process of recovery, you're doing the work, you have to understand that every day is not going to be rosy peaches and cream, that everybody has a responsibility. And just as we just talked about having a detox or a detox, the person themselves have to go through a individual detox of flushing out bad behavior, bad inaccuracies, and bad way of doing things. So they have to move away from the bad behavior and the old way of doing things. And when you can see that, when you can see the fruit of that, then you can know and begin to go to a place of trust again. What you say, Rod?
Well, the question that was asked, how can you trust again, or can you trust again? And the answer is yes, you can trust again. It takes work. It takes commitment on both sides. And to Roland's point, there will be some obstacles. There will be some setbacks. There will be some pauses, some park to the sides. But if both parties are committed to the recovery, to the new marriage, then it can work and trust can be rebuilt. But it takes the work of the betrayer to do the work and be consistent, show a willingness to change, show actions of changing, and not continue to fall back into bad habits. You want to create new habits. You want to do little things every day that will rebuild that trust. Because it's, you've heard it several times here on Couples Academy. Trust is lost in buckets and gained in drops. So you want to make sure that you're making that drop every day. You getting that drop in that bucket every day, and eventually that bucket will fill up and the trust will be restored.
Absolutely. And listen, once you see the work is being done and you see that you can you find yourself in a better place, don't hold on to what has happened. Some things you have to release, because as long as you keep holding on to what has happened, even though you see progress has been made, you keep yourself in a sense of bondage of what has happened, and you don't free yourself from the things that have taken place. Okay. Hey, listen, we have run out of time. I think it's a real thing that says time flies when you're having fun, because we really enjoy doing what we do. We really enjoy helping others, and we really enjoy making sure that you get the content that you so rightfully need. But we have run out of time today on Ask the Experts. Make sure you tune in on next week, Monday through Thursday. We have topics that we will be addressing. And here again on next Friday, make sure you come in early, ask your questions. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Rob, for sharing with us. We'll see you on the next run.